Today is January the 2nd, 1997, and my name's Steve Riley. I'm here in the press room at Imperial Fabricating in New Deal to show you some of the ways that our people here use to store their tools and keep them out of the way of the press operations. The first person I'm going to introduce is Dave Powell. He's the supervisor for the press room on both shifts. Dave?
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Welcome to Imperial Group Tennessee press room. I got Daryl Harris here with me on the left-hand side. Daryl's my head die setter, troubleshooter. He does a little bit of everything for his press room. He's come up with a pretty good setup on how we store our different die setups as far as clamps, bolt down, etc., whatever we need to do a proper die setup. So I'm going to turn it over to Daryl. He's going to take you on how we're currently doing it and what we're working towards, what we're trying to accomplish to make it safer and better in the die setting. So now I'm going to turn it over to Daryl.
Alright, if you come with me, I'll show you a canvas to begin with. Pilot station, we're going to keep all our pins, our hold downs, heel blocks, this stuff that has to be used to set a die with. These bobble like a duck. Now this is our station that we have designed for setup. We have each one of these stations has a place of its own for each setup or each die. That way there's no confusion of the length of pins or how many pins it takes to operate that die. Each one has a tag let on the top that tells you exactly what it is for and how many pins and the length.
That looks good, Daryl.
Also, each die has its standard bolts. We also have a station for each one. If it has just one set, if it's an odd length, it'll have its own station. If not, we organize it as the length of bolts, hold downs, heel blocks, and we measure the die. That way when we set the die, we know the height of it. We come here, we don't have to guess, we look at pull our drawers out and get what we need out of the box to make a one-time setup. It'll be right when we take that stuff to the cabinet, from the cabinet to the die.
How do you know what bolts and clamps go with which die? You just know that by heart, or is there a list?
What I said, we measure the die.
You measure the die?
And find out how thick the die shoe is. Then once we do that, we come here, and then we have different length blocks, heel blocks. That'll tell us that's what it takes to go with the die. And the bolts, we have 3 size bolts here. That's standard for what dies that we run at Imperial. We take, it's one setup. It's one setup.
Let's see what's in that drawer there.
In other words, this is a 6-inch T-slotted bolt. All right, this is used. You'll take a set of these to go to each die that requires a 6-inch bolt. These bolts are kept together, as well as our 8-inch and our 10-inch bolts.
Okay.
We also have our hold downs, small, medium, and large hold downs.
Let's look at those.
That way, when you come to your cabinet, you'll have your standard size hold down it requires to go to the die that it recommends. If you have a large die, you want to use a large hold down. Same as a small die. You have, and we also have a roller system on these boxes to make it easier for you to pull. And it's easier and it's quick. And we have a small hold down. That'll bolt up a percentage of your small dies.
Well, it looks like you got casters on the bottom of those drawers.
Also, your nuts is all kept in one drawer. Your washers are all kept in one drawer. And if you'll, each one of them has it's a lot of weight, so we put castings on the bottom of them to be able to pull the drawers out easily enough. That way it's easier on the die setter as he takes and comes to get what he needs to properly set his die. Once he sets his die, if he has anything left, he needs to clean it and return it to his cabinet. That way the next time he needs it, it's there for his use.
How many die setters do you have that work in the press room, Daryl?
We have 2 on day shift, 2 on night shift.
Okay, so
Each one has a access to this cabinet. We keep them locked so that they're the only 4 people that will be using what's in these cabinets. Also, any changeover. Any changeover that we have, this is a changeover cabinet to keep all your tooling, as your punches, as your anything to change over in your dies, your punches or your buttons or whatever that go inside the die, it's all kept inside this cabinet. That way it's never laid around. It's always where it belongs. It's always clean and ready to go for the next setup.
how long have you guys had this set up like this?
We set this up, we've only had it going about 6 or 7 months now, but it's cut our time as far as doing what we need. It's cut it way over half. I mean, consider the time that you look to make sure you have to measure your pins to make sure they're the right length. This takes all the guesswork out. They're all in their own station, and there's no guesswork to it. You come over, it's all properly tagged, and you don't have to look for it.
You don't spend a lot of time searching for the right parts.
Time of searching. You have everything in its place. Everything has its place. Once you know what die you're going to set, and the work order is given to you for that job, you can take and come to your cabinet and get what you need for your setup, return to your workstation, and where we was taking probably 2 hours to set certain dies, it's cut it down, some of them to 45 minutes, some of them to 30 minutes because of T-slotted bolts. That was a quick setup for us because we was using regular bolts and screwing them into the bolster plate. This way, we have T-slotted bolsters, which is a fast setup. And everything has, for that one setup, it's all right here. And we take, and we have a buggy that we take and we come, we get what we need, we put it all in the buggy at one time, and then we go to our press. It's all there for easy, quick setup.
What's that other cart back there, Daryl? Is that something you use?
This cart?
Yeah.
That's my toolbox.
Is it?
That's going to be my toolbox.
Oh, you're working on one.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this a forklift charging station here?
Also, in setup, we have our own tow motor. We keep it here when not in use to keep it plugged up, to keep our battery efficiently charged. And that way, when we have to make a setup, we have everything we need to do it at the time we need to do it in.
Okay. What about this oil here? Is that something you use?
This oil is for our presses when we have a leak or anything, which we do have leaks. So we keep this on in stock here to keep our presses sufficiently filled with oil.
Okay, I noticed there's another card over here, Daryl. Is that something that you guys use, or is that?
Now this is not part of our use. It's used through QA. QA lays their bumpers out on this car to check their
Okay.
parts.
This is really nice, Daryl. I'm impressed. You guys have done a real good job of setting this area up for the die setters.
This is paid off for Imperial here in Tennessee. It's been a long time coming, but as you see, and looking at it on tape, it may not sound like it makes it that faster for our setup. But once you install something as this, and we have a workstation here too. This is the workstation for all changeovers. If you're repairing any punch bodies or anything, your presses, you have your station. Everything is sufficiently laid out here, so it makes it faster where you have less downtime for your operators. And if you're setting a die, you know that's got to be, you want to do it quick, but you want to do it safe. This makes it work both ways. And it was a long time getting this together, but once we got it installed, it did make a world of difference. We less than half the time now on setup.
It makes a world of difference out in the press room too, because you don't have all of these tools and spacers and bolts and clamps laying around all over the bolster plates and the rams and the dies out there where they could cause injury or damage to the equipment.
Well, excuse me, but in the past we had stuff as like these heel block stuff laying around on our rams and stuff like that, and we had a costly accident. It broke the crank arm, and
How did that happen?
to a 250-ton press. We had a heel block laying up on there, and it fell off and caught between the slide and the ram.
Yeah.
Once it done that, when it made its cycle, it busted. It busted the crank instead of just knocking the block out. So that was an expensive lesson to learn. And that's one of the reasons we come up with this station to remove all heel blocks, hold downs, and such as that off of our presses.
Okay, Daryl, you can go ahead and lock your cabinet up. I'd like for you to show me a couple of presses out here that you're working on, maybe where you're setting a die. Are you setting a die at that first press around the corner?
Well, the first press around the corner right now it's got a little downtime on it because we have to take a riser out in order to set a new die that we just got in. And the die has to be taller than what our ram will go with that riser in there, so we have to remove the riser in order to run this new die. So really, I can show you where we are, how far as we are on that now.
Okay. This is our machine shop.
Notice on this 600-ton press, we already have everything we need.
Wait a minute. Let me go back there and get a shot of how... I stopped Daryl because I wanted to show you all how big this press is. Okay. Daryl, what are you doing here?
Well, what we're going to do on this press here, we're going to remove this riser so we'll be able to set a die that will fit inside here. We already have this time the tooling laying on each corner of the press to bolt this die up.
What's the riser? Point to the riser. That's that big orange thing, isn't it?
We have to remove this right here.
Yeah.
In order to allow us to run a thicker die.
Okay.
Where it doesn't have the clearance for this riser in. So you'll remove it, set it out. Now this is the timely setup here, which we don't recommend doing this, but we recommend trying to keep your dies all to the height. In the future, we're going to cut this riser down, and that will eliminate taking it out. We'll be able to run any time we have in the shop. It runs through the 600. They'll all run through there with the riser in. And once again, that will go back to the quick setup, where you normally take an hour setup. This will probably take at least 2 hours until you got an hour to take the
riser out. Okay. What'd you say about these tools you got here in the corners?
All right. What you see on each corner of the bolster plate right now is the tooling to set the new die that we have. We already have it here, so when we get the riser out, we'll have everything we need right here to bolt the die up in and be ready to run.
What are those pins that are right there in the middle?
That's the pins will be going in the new die. We already have them sitting in there. All we have to do when we unbolt this, we'll take it out on the tow motor and raise the round up and set the die right in.
I got you. Is this your toolbox here, Daryl?
This is our toolbox. This has all the equipment that you'll need to set any die. The company furnishes part of it, and we furnish part of it. It has everything to properly set up. We use impacts, and that's, once again, this makes a quick setup. When you have impact tools to do it, it will take normally a 30-minute job. It'll cut it to half if you have proper tools to it.
What about when you set the new die? Do you set the controls best you can for operation of the press?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's that light up there? Is that for the die setter or is that for the operator?
That's really both. I mean, right now it's unhooked because of the, they don't have a part in yet, but this makes it, when you're running a part, they set you stainless steel. This will help the person who's running to catch any kind of pin easier, better lighting than out there on the part.
Okay, can you show me a couple more presses, Daryl?
This is our newest press that we have. We put it in last year. It's a 500 ton. This is equipped top and bottom with the quicker T-slotted bolster plate and round. This makes it faster both ways for you to bolt the die in because of sliding your T-nuts where you need them. This die here, probably if it was a regular bolster plate, it'll probably take an hour and a half. This way it takes about 15 minutes to properly set that die and have it ready to go.
What die is that?
That's the new tank in.
Okay. Let's take a look at the rest of it.
Now this is an old press. It's a 200-ton press, and it stays set up on Rufo's. Since it's an old press, it's not. We don't operate it here as much as we do the others, so we leave it set up on one die because of
You just don't have that many dies to run in, do you?
that will run in this press because of the little narrow table.
What is that stop block right there?
Safety tube. That's one of our safety tubes because we're at this time we're trying to install new safety tubes on all of our presses to make our presses more safe. Right now we do have safety blocks, but we're trying to install new ones, lighter weight, where it'd be easier for the die setter to make it easier on himself. Plus that way he's apt to use it more if it's easier for him to get it in and out of the press.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a 350-ton press, and it's one of the dies, one of the new bumper dies that we have in. It runs a center feed. Each one of our presses now at this time, all but one press has T-slotted bolster plates. Once again, this makes for an easier and quick setup. Once you have your die set in, if you'll notice, well, there's one or two pieces laying on it right now, but they're not supposed to be. Once you get your die in, anything that's left laying on the table that you don't need for a proper setup is to be removed. That's for safety. Also, that's for keeping your parts that you need to be in a place where you know where they're stored at.
Okay, I'm gonna go around and get the other side of this one too. This is the side the operator stands on, isn't it, Daryl?
This is the front side of it where the operator stands and on the press.
Okay, now what part are they making with this particular die right here?
This is the centerpiece of the new bumper die that we received. It's a 3-piece bumper.
Okay. Is it how many people does it take to run this part?
Just one person.
Really? Good.
If you want to run it fast, you can have another person that be doing the oiling while the operator runs it. But it really only requires one person to run it.
Okay. Oh, you got some.
Each one of our die racks has its own station. This die is kept there. No other die is set in its place. You keep your die where you're station it all. It's all, you have a log book to keep each thing wrote down, each die wrote down, the number, the part number, the die number, and the description of your die. And you can look in that log book, and if you want a certain die, you just point at it in the book. You can walk right to this rack. It is listed in, and it will be set in its place.
These dies that are on these two racks right here, they're the ones that are used in this press, and also this press is, I'm assuming, is that right?
Most of all that's in these presses here is used in this part of the press room, all but the one in the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's used up there in the 600-ton press.
Okay. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Oh, this has got some new controls on it. This is the one we put the Wintris controls, isn't it?
Yes, and this is probably the most efficiently system that's been put on any press in our factory. It tells you on the panel board over there, whenever you let off the button, if you have it on inch, it tells you exactly where the ram is. Takes all the guesswork out of it. If you don't have it adjusted right, your ram, and wherever it stops, it'll show you on the panel board over there where it's at, so you can make sure no accidents are going to happen. You can take and go by the lights to tell you exactly where it's at.
Okay, and you got this slotted bolster plate in here.
Slotted bolster plate in this one. We have a new riser in it, even though it's not a T-slotted riser.
Yeah.
We have a new riser made, and now what dies that we run, we can leave this one in here, and we don't have to change anything out, just set the dies in and bolt them down.
Okay. Small shear. You used to call that thing the can opener, didn't you?
No, our count was right here.
Oh,
Right here.
yeah, okay. But this you're using to cut the edges off the hood crowns,
Shear,
right?
we cut the edges off of the hood crowns
Yeah.
so they're properly draw in the drawdown.
Okay. This is your continuous feed press.
This is a coil feed.
Uh-huh.
It runs on automatic. We have about 3 or 4 dies that we run in this press, which they'll run automatically. It's the only press that we have in the plant, in the press room, that doesn't have a T-slotted bolster plate. But with no more dies than we run in it, it's sufficiently enough for it.
I see you got some bolts and stuff over here at the side. Those things shouldn't even be there, should they,
Shouldn't
Darryl?
be there. They were left. Whoever made the setup left them laying there.
Okay.
That was an improper setup. Even though the die is bolted in properly, the bolts that was left, that was
They should go back in the cabinet.
straight from the die study.
Yeah. More die storage, I see. Are these dies, do they go in this press?
No,
Not necessarily.
we have 3 dies in that rack that goes in this press. But we have 17 die racks. But we have most of them in this end of the factory because of space. Now, most of what dies that we have back here runs in the upper end of the press room because we have more space back here to store all of our large dies, such as our big roof dies and stuff. It pierces our roofs out. We also have a new die rack on the end down here for all of our bumpers. We keep all of our strippers on it to ensure no scratches and dents and messed up where they've been laid out with the die.
All right, let's look at these other die racks, Darryl. You've got all your dies that you use in the press room are stored in the press room in these racks, right?
Right.
You don't have any dies stored outside.
No dies outside at all.
Okay, now you've got a few that are back there in the shipping department, and that's really part of your storage area, isn't it?
Back there where they wash them.
Yeah.
Now that area back there, once we have a die, once we pull it out, we take it straight to the wash area, and it goes in a rack back there. And when they get time to wash it, they wash it, change tags on it, put it back into the rack in here where it belongs. They have numbers on the dies and numbers on the rack to ensure it's put back in the right place.
You got some guys back there working on a die now.
Right.
Okay.
We have 2 guys that works in that station at all times. They take and they ensure that our dies, once we pull them out, they pull the dies apart. They wash the dies, they check the bolts, they check, make sure our tooling is sharp, and they clean it, put the green tag back on it, ensures that die is ready to be run again. If not, it's red tagged and sent on into the machine shop where they repair it and get it back to us. They green tag and get it back to us with a white tag on it also, telling us it's ready to be tried to make sure everything is properly back in place.
Okay. Let's take a look at these presses we got up here. That's your biggest press right there, isn't it,
It's a
Darryl?
1,000-ton press. That's our biggest press here at Tennessee plant.
All right, let's take a look at it. You got a bumper die in there, don't you?
Yeah, so we have bumper die in there. This is all hydraulic. It has an inner and outer ram. This allows us to clamp and form our roofs and our front corner skins. Any kind of part that has to be clamped and drawed at the same time. This die here, this press right here, is designed to do so.
I just noticed these two dies over here. These are roof dies, aren't they?
Yeah, sir, these are roof dies
And a fender die.
and hood crown.
Oh, hood
I mean,
crowns?
hood tops.
Hood crown.
We also have another big roof die that we keep out here. All of our die stations, some of the dies are so big we can't put them in a die rack, so we station them together and give them a, if they're in a line together, we give them like a number that you would a die rack. That ensures that that die is put back in that same place once it's clean after use. That way, next time we go to set that die, it's sitting in the place where it belongs, and it's been cleaned, properly tagged. That makes it quicker and cleaner and easier setup.
What's this gray cabinet you got over in the corner there, Daryl? Is it got tools in it?
That has some bolts and stuff in it also, but it's part of the ones where we don't have T-slotted bolsters. This is just stuff we store in that cabinet. If anything goes wrong with the bolts that we have in use, we throw them away and get a new one out of that cabinet to take its place.
Okay. It's a backup then, isn't it?
It's backup, that's right.
Getting ready to set a die here?
Yes, sir. We'll be setting a die in here today sometimes. It's this is a 400-ton press, which we do most of our piercing roofs and blanking our bumpers right here in this press here. It's has a low bed. That way it's easier on the operator to load and unload the parts.
You got some of your smaller dies stuck up here. And here's your mechanical presses.
Yes.
Daryl, is there any other storage areas over here amongst these small presses where you keep die clamps or bolts?
On our small presses at this time, we do not have a cabinet,
Yeah.
but we have two places where we keep the bolts.
Uh-huh.
We have a rack over here beside of the press 106. It's 106 ton. We keep this cabinet
Oh,
rack
that
over here.
that little yellow stand right there?
Small bolts.
Yeah.
It uses small bolts to fill up the bolts up.
Okay.
Most of these presses here keeps the same dies in them. We have a maybe once a week changeover, so it doesn't require a big storage area for the tooling that it takes to run these, store these parts.
Okay, is there any place else that you store nuts and bolts?
We have a storage bin right up here. We have a storage tray here on the rack, right here on this rail.
Oh, on the back side here?
It's out of the way and it's easy to just lay our stuff in it. We can come and get it. As you'll notice,
You got a bucket of bolts there too.
organization here. There's no organization here, and if that's what you're faced with on your presses, we'll be eliminating this in the future and taking it to a cabinet that will be in here around one of the presses because of non-use of it. You know, you don't use so much of it.
Well, are you going to make a smaller version of what you have over there?
It'll be a small version of that. It'll have little trays, and we have only one press that runs with pins, so it's not so much the space to keep pins, but it's hold downs, small bolts, and washers.
Okay.
Because if you'll notice, these hold downs are drastically smaller than what you've seen in the other cabinet.
Yeah.
So it's easier to store stuff like that in a smaller cabinet.
I'll get you. I'll get you. Okay, Daryl, I really thank you for showing us around here. I'm going to take a few more pictures of these dies and also that cleaning station there. Do you have anything else that you want to point out that helps you to keep this press room organized and the tools that you use?
I recommend the cleaning of the press beds by the die setters, if not the operators. Each time you pull a die, make sure that press is sufficient and clean. This makes a quick setup when you go to make your next setup.
Okay.
Instead of waiting till you get ready to make your setup, that way it's ready at all times to go.
Good idea. Good idea. Thanks, Daryl.
Well,
This is the die cleaning area. Off to the right we have a piece of equipment they call an anneal oven that's used to it's a gas-fired oven that's used to burn off excess oil on some of the parts that they make. It's not really part of the die maintenance equipment. Hi. This is the die cleaning station here. James Hall is the operator.
Spray some on there where they know what they're setting it up for.
No, that's all right. They got a good idea.
point. Yes.
Ryan,
One more night. I swear.
what are you doing?
Sweet dreams.
Making me a cup.
Oh,
9:52.
answer a question for me.
Great rest of Thursday at 60.
I noticed that you got some yellow bins over here in these racks.
Fresh cup in her hand.
These kind of yellow pans. Are those cutting tools for dyes?
Changeover block.
Changeover blocks?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
The dyes and trim dyes and stuff like that for the hood cramps.
I got you. Small parts, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The inventory is counted, and now it's time to clear the show. Continued at a fixed time. With this remaining the buyers and clearance price items. With a 15-minute drive from the mall, you can shop Westwood's largest outlet showroom. View the main Griselle has outdoor lines.
Thanks, James.